I'll introduce myself properly. My name is Archie. I'm mixed race. I'll tell you about that very quickly. My mum, lovely but very eccentric woman from Limerick in Ireland. And cousins, nice to meet you. And that's mum's side. My dad is a man that once convinced me Uncle Ben was my actual uncle.
Hey, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Men who find feminism threatening don't go down at all.
I'm LGBTQ+. I've got ADHD, and my middle name is spelled the Irish way, which means so far I have collected over 80% of all the letters.
Hi, I'm Marcus, and I'm the idiot on the comedy circuit. I've asked a group of comedians some questions on how to start and succeed in the world of stand-up comedy. Subscribe to this channel to see what their answers were, as well as to chart my progress on stage, be it crushing or crashing. More likely the latter than the former. You can also follow my progress on social media. I am ION Comedy on Twitter and ION Comedy Circuit on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Here is today's video.
So there are loads of comedy festivals, throughout the world, but also throughout the UK. We're particularly good at stand-up comedy, I guess. So other big ones, so Camden Fringe, I did that with a few friends last year. Brighton Fringe, I think is now the biggest fringe in England. Leicester has some stuff. There's one this year actually, which I know is just starting, Retford Fringe, I think it's called Retfest. That will be in October. But essentially it's people who are passionate about comedy and want to have, a week, a couple of weeks, a whole month in the case of Edinburgh, dedicated to comedy. Now, Edinburgh is the biggest fringe in the world. It lasts for a month. It is internationally acclaimed. To win Best Show or Best Newcomer at Edinburgh Fringe would be sort of the highlight of a comedian's career, I would suggest. However, because it is the biggest comedy festival in the world, it is expensive. So accommodation, booking venues, you will sink a lot of money into it, even if you are a major and established act. Also, it's expensive for the people who are going to it. So again, if you're paying for the accommodation as a punter, if you're going to see big names, often those shows will be expensive. So to make the fringe accessible to more people, you do what's called the free fringe. So you don't charge for tickets. You might well have a bucket at the end, and this is quite common in other clubs as well, where the traditional line is, it's free to get in, but it's not free to get out. Please pay whatever you think the show is worth, and that's how you try and make up your money that way. So that's fairly common of how people will start. They will try to get a listing on the free fringe, and you need to apply for that in the same way that you do for major venues in order to be listed on things, in order to advertise, but it is slightly more accessible. It's still expensive. I mean, comedy is a fairly expensive hobby, I would suggest, but it is the response to Edinburgh is just becoming wildly unaffordable for people.
I would say for the first, if you want to go up and learn and be a better comedian, then take an hour up there before you have an hour. You won't have a nice time, but you will learn to be a better comedian after the end of that run. I would say if you want to have a good time in Edinburgh, the first couple of years, share the hour slot with someone or with two people. So you could, three of you do 20 minutes, or two do half an hour's, or one do 45 and one do 15, and switch it around. That stops you from being put into the debut show category, because a debut show counts as an hour-long show. So if you are like with one eye on the comedy awards or whatever, avoid doing an hour for as long as you can until you're really, really ready. I would say definitely go up on the free fringe if you're very, very new and not doing an hour. That would make so much more sense, and there's a chance you might actually make money. The venue could be shit. Some of them are great, The equipment might not be there. You will get sick. That happens to everyone every Edinburgh. The first month you have Edinburgh Fringe flu. Although now, that might be something else. So just keep an eye out for that. And just I would say, especially early doors, first 3 or 4 years of going up there, don't take it too seriously. Before, especially if you're not doing your debut show, just go up and try and have fun and learn and see stuff that you wouldn't normally want to watch just to see what's going on. See things that you think will be terrible so that you can kind of discern what's great and what's not. And take a chance on people out there, because that's what you're asking people to do with you. So definitely take a chance on some things you wouldn't have thought of. If you are doing a debut show and have one eye on the awards and stuff like that and getting the maximum amount of industry recognition, as sad as it is to say, because I just talked shit about it a second ago, but I think you do need to spend the money. That's the problem with Edinburgh, is I think for your debut, definitely get PR, definitely get to one of the big 5 venues, get a producer, get a director, splash out as much money as you can, and then that will improve your experience in and around Edinburgh, really. I would hate that, I do hate that is the way it is, but that is the way it is. That's what Edinburgh is. So if you're not taking up a debut, do it like it's the 80s and 90s and be all anarchic and sleep in a shitty flat with 15 other people in a room and just be crap and up all night. And if it's not that, kind of, chill out a little bit and eat properly, get some nice places to stay, and don't be out every night drinking and all of that stuff.
If you're new to comedy, you do not go up. Plan a full week of your own expense of putting on a show and doing X, Y, and Z if you're not ready. It's so expensive, and you really need to be, you don't necessarily need to be a big name, but you need to be confident, because you'll get people to come back in as well. I think what's a big shock for everyone is like the expense of comedy as well. Like, it is, if you are doing shows, it is very, very expensive. I would also say as well, because I did, I got offered a spot at a comedy festival in Manchester, and I did the same comedy festival last year when I was probably not ready for festivals, and we had a 1-day offer, and it was for a 3 p.m. on a Saturday. None of us live in Manchester, so we're not names. And I think we turned that down because it's just not worth our time or expense to do, because it's going to be a struggle to get people in. Like, I think if you go, because I'm going up to Edinburgh this year for like about 9 days. I've got 2 gigs I'm doing. One is like one of them I'm a glamorous assistant in one, and I'm doing like a split hour, like a quarter of an hour in another one. And that is a good gig to do, because I can promote one show during the day and I can do my show in the evening, and that makes a lot of sense. And you're there for a full week, you get to really know what the festival's like. And I think as well, if you're going to a festival, and if you want to do festivals, the first year you go up for a few days, have a great time. There are I think in every festival you go to, there are open mics you can jump on. And there are people who are super, super, super supportive of newer acts as well. They'll get them onto their show to do 5 minutes, 15 minutes. You'll get a chance to perform, but it's a good way to see how you like it. Because even I did Brighton Festival this year, and I did a half-hour show with someone else. But as much as I enjoyed doing it, I would say our location wasn't great, and our time was a bit too late in the evening. That even like when our show finished, the pub was closed. So the show went really, really well, and we got good feedback afterwards. But it was a struggle to get people to come in at that time, and it was a struggle to get an audience because we didn't have a lot of traffic nearby. And the people we were getting were people in the pub who we strong-armed in. So it was a bit like, I would say location is important, because there's some festivals that aren't promoted as well. Like I did Nottingham Festival I did Nottingham Festival last year, and I had a fantastic time and I absolutely loved the festival. But if you didn't know the festival's on, there's no way to tell. Like it wasn't promoted by the city. There's kind of just like people like, oh, what's this? So I think I would say for me, like looking at location is actually quite important. Looking at time is important. Like I think Edinburgh is less important, because Edinburgh you can get people go up for the entirety of the festival. So no matter what time of day it is, you will be able to get people in. But there are, I think for the smaller festival, you need to be aware of like timing is important, and like location is important, because it's good to be where there are people nearby. And again, you can, if you get a spot where there are other performers on as well, like there's some, like in Edinburgh they have like the Underbelly. There's a few places they have like, I think the Pear Tree is another one as well, where they have about like 8 or 9 different rooms, and in each room there's a different comedy set going on. And you can just be promoting your own show, and you can go outside, talk to people, get people to come in. Because I think promotion is, like, you're not going to get your money back. Don't think you're going to a festival to make money. It's not really going to happen. But you can almost break even if you're if you're very clever with your dates and that kind of thing, and you plan things out well and you have a good spot and stuff. So it is. I think the big thing is, like, if you want to do a festival, go to one and then find open mics, or like find that kind of thing that's on as well. It's a really good way to do it, because there'll be slots to jump on, and it's free if you do that.
And that was today's video. Don't forget to click subscribe and hit the notification bell to be prompted when a new video comes out. And don't forget to follow me on social media, ION Comedy on Twitter and ION Comedy Circuit on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook. Okay, bye bye.